What is going on? Good morning, evening, afternoon, whenever, wherever, however you're listening to this. This is Pastor Jason, and this is our weekly Digging Deeper here at Tucka's Siege. Thanks for clicking on this and taking the time to watch it. This is our weekly deeper dive into this past Sunday sermon, and so we call it Digging Deeper because that's how imaginative I am. All right, anyway. So this past Sunday, we started our walk into the Passion, or continued. Last week, we really went way back all the way to Exodus to set up the whole context of the Passion and Passover. And this week, though, we're getting into it. So we looked at the betrayal of Jesus there in the garden. Coming out of the garden, Jesus is approached by Judas, the Roman guards, the temple police, and he is betrayed by Judas. And we talked about the betrayal and talked about how, from the outside looking in, it looks like, Jesus is being arrested and everything's going out of control. But despite outward appearances, and John is very clear, and to make sure that his readers and us, that's us, understand this, that Jesus is control of the situation, right? Everything that happens here is just as the Father knew it would happen, just as the Father, Son, and the Spirit had planned from the very beginning. This was all happening just as it was supposed to. God is always and still in control. And so we talked about the betrayal in that part, but bigger to me, or not even a bigger thought, but the thing I wanted to kind of hit on for us today as we think and dive deeper into this is just looking at Judas, right? The Judas as the betrayer. And we talked about this Sunday how he kind of stands as an example for all of us. He'd been with Jesus for the past at least 3 years or almost 3 years, and have left everything. And when we read all the works that the disciples did, we forget about the fact that Judas was there too. That Judas was doing all of these things, and he had watched Jesus do all the miracles. He had heard his teaching. He'd been there through all of it. And we talked about this idea that he is an example for us about how close you can get to Jesus, but still never believe and still never have that relationship. So close, but so far away. It's also a reminder too, right, that active involvement in ministry. I think I said Sunday, active involvement in ministry, while a good thing, is not in itself a guarantee of spiritual health or spiritual life. And if you are counting on or leaning in to anything but faith alone in Christ alone, it's the wrong way. You can be so close to God. You could be serving for Jesus. You could be doing all these things, but your heart not really be there. The Bible tells us that man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. He looks at the heart and sees, is there belief, is there faith, is there trust in Christ behind these things. And it can be all works and no relationship. And we can put everything into the works and everything into the things that we do. And even in good things, like I'm loving people, I'm doing all this stuff. We talk about love in action all the time. But if that love in action isn't grounded in my faith in Christ and my understanding of who he is and what he's done for me, it's nothing, right? It's nothing, because it doesn't have real love. It's still worldly love. It's not the godly love. And so for us, it's looking there, taking inventory, not just looking at our actions, but the why behind that. Do they come out of a relationship with God? Is he the source? As we talk about, and I said earlier, right, love in action. Well, what does that look like? Well, it's God's love in me overflowing and outpouring. And so what is the source? What's the reason? What's the why behind everything that I'm doing? And it's making sure that it's because of this relationship that I have. It's through the gospel, the forgiveness that I have, right? Salvation is through grace, not by works, lest any man should boast. And a lot of times I think we get that part of it, but then we try to work and do all of our stuff to flex, to Jesus flex, like look what I'm doing, look where I'm at, look at all the stuff I'm doing, and we're trying to impress God. And again, that's for the wrong reasons as well. We see in Judas's estimation, we can't read into his mind, but just looking at it, I don't think it was always after the money, but the big thing that we talked about too is not only can we see how close we can get to God, but never have that relationship, we can see how important it is to always have that heart that's guarded, to always be putting to death that sin. Because if we give it a foothold, you can see what happened. We saw it happen in Judas's life, and probably more than likely you know and have heard stories of it happen in other people's lives. And so as we kind of go through midweek this week, leaning into Wednesdays, if you're watching this on Wednesday, we have all of our things that are going on at the church, our men's Bible study, women's Bible study, and we have childcare for both of those. Our youth are meeting over at the Lifehouse, and so exciting things over there, Gaga Pit, basketball, food, fun, lots of Jesus, lots of discipleship time. Our small groups are meeting as well. So I hope you'll come and join us for those. If you're watching this and it's way in the future, or I was going to say way in the past, but that's not possible. So but if you're watching this in the future, welcome. Hope I'm still doing all right. Maybe the beard's still dark. But as we go through this, I digress, please. As we go through the rest of this week, look at our actions, look at what we're doing. It's really looking at our heart, right? What are my actions? What's their source? Why am I doing those things? And the other part of this is, have I allowed any sin in my life that would come between me and God, my relationship with God, or that would be a foothold for the devil? Because I don't want to leave any of that. I don't want to leave any space, any room for those things. As the old Puritan pastor said, right? Be killing sin, or sin be killing you. That every day, Romans 8:13, we put to death through the power of the Spirit that old flesh, because that old flesh isn't able to do all the stuff that God would have us to do. So that's my hope and my prayer for all of us. Hope you have a great midweek. I don't know what I call midweek. A great Wednesday. If it's Wednesday, I hope you've had a great week. And I hope to see you Sunday. As always, Tuckasegee, 511 Tuckasegee Road, or at tuckasegee.com, or on the Tuckasegee app, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Most of those places. So hope to see you there. Like I said, as always, we're here for you. If you ever have a message or anything, you can always message us. You can send me emails at pastor@tuckasegee.com, or you can just simply reach out to the church. You can go to our website for that. All right? Hope you have a great day. Now go get in that pit and try to love somebody.